All right, guys. Here at Spellman Woods, here behind the high school. The trail system. Gonna take a quick trip back here. Take you guys all to the cellar hole foundations. Talk about a couple things on the way out. Make note of a few things to observe. So as we're coming through, first I noticed when I pulled up, some sort of tire markings, it looks like. I don't know if someone came back here with a bike or something. Some sort of moped or motorcycle or something. I have no idea. But I've never seen those tracks before. But definitely I see some tracks of other people coming back here, which is good. People getting back and enjoying the trails here. So this trail system, you know, our guys that do, we got some people that do cross country definitely get back here. Maybe some of you guys have come back here for practices, or maybe you've just come back in the woods at different times. But for our class, we're going to be getting back here a lot. And the whole story of these trails, or the whole story of this land is you know, it goes back pretty far. There's a lot of history here. You know, so some of the things we'll talk about and make note of is, you know, working obviously with the cellar hole foundations in terms of trying to bring those back. When we started working on those in the fall of 2019, they were pretty much completely overgrown. There really wasn't, you could barely see the system, or excuse me, the foundations. It was just completely overgrown. And then we got in there and we started realizing there was a ton of garbage and debris. So we started getting that out. We did that. So we were clearing out vegetation and trash. So after we got all through that, we, you know, it was right around the time last year in the late winter of 2020 when everything shut down. And during the spring of 2020, at some point, somebody got back there and kind of undid a lot of the work we did. So we've sort of been picking the pieces up from that over the fall of 2020, and our class in 2021 here, we're going to continue that work. So we'll be getting back here a lot. It's going to be a big part of our class and what we do. But there's other stuff back here to talk about. There's tons of rock walls. There's you know, evidence of the kind of farming that was happening here. There's paddocks, retaining walls, a lot of stuff that dates back to, you know, the very most recent would be the mid to latter portions of the 1800s, which means it was probably here much longer than that. So in the trail system, I've come up, walking up from Spellman Drive, we take a right. So one of the things we're going to do here, and what I'd like to do this fall, is blaze these trails, like mark the trails, and make it something that we can put on a map and people could follow to come back here, to get back to the trail system, to get back into the trail system. So there's some stuff to do with that. You know, there's different pieces of land back here owned by different groups. Everybody from Stonington, the town of Stonington, to Avalonia, to the Amtrak, you know, the rail company. So there's a lot of different things going on. So one of the things we're going to do is look at Stonington GIS and figure out who owns what, who owns the different parts. Right now, I'm in the town of Stonington portion of the woods, and we're going to work our way through. Very slushy, and we're going to work our way up to the foundation. So this, come out here in summertime, you come out here in September, it's like very overgrown. We actually did a lot of trail work the first semester that we did this class in 2019, and there's going to be more of that we're going to do this spring. But right now, going up, working up a hill, rock wall, cutting across. None of these rock walls are random. They were built. They were built by farmers, and they all have certain characteristics. If you look at the rock walls all over New England, the rocks are usually about the same size. They're something that can be handled. They're called two-handers, actually, meaning, a person would be able to pick them up and create that rock wall, build it with their hands, no machinery. Whereas these other large rocks, so you can see here, they're kind of scattered about. These are called glacial erratics. Glacial erratics are large boulders, the size of a car, the size of a house, too big for a man to move, and that were deposited here during the last ice age. As glaciers stretched all the way down into this region of the world, really this is kind of the last stop. They pushed through the Northeast, through Eastern Canada, what is the White Mountains and the Green Mountains and the Appalachian Mountains, and carved those mountains up. And as they began to retreat, they left massive boulders here. So these are called glacial erratics. They're large boulders, and they're kind of strewn about in this area. Something else to note about this area, the trees, like all the forest that's grown in here. This is all new growth forest that's come since this land stopped being farmed. So when this land stopped being farmed, nature started taking it back. And as nature has taken this land back, the rock walls stay. They kind of serve as a reminder of the past. And there's some really cool rock wall structures back here that tell a story. Super straight lines. The straight lines tell us that they're farmers. We'll start to see other rock walls that are curved and going a bunch of different directions. Those type of rock walls are usually native. So we'll look at examples of that throughout the semester. But here's our first cellar hole foundation. This would be the foundation for the home. You can see the walkout, the stairwell there. That stairwell, I'll have to find photos. That stairwell, when we started working on this in, a year and a half ago, 2019, it was completely covered. We've unearthed it. And the structure, you can see there's a cave in over here. It's fighting gravity. It's fighting to a lot of force right now, and has for well over a century at the least. So this is our first cellar hole foundation. I want to take you guys over here, take you to the other one. You can see rock walls. I'm gonna head over there real quick, show you this. This is a cool spot. We're gonna do something with LiDAR. The LiDAR program, as we start to get familiar with that, maybe we'll use this as an opportunity to do it, to find this location on LiDAR. And a way to do that is to look for this spot right here. You can see the rock wall, heads off here, straight shot down, straight here. Kind of makes like an intersection, a T, that on LiDAR you'll be able to notice. Once you notice this, you can find the cellar hole foundation over there. You'll see the impression. I'll show you how to do that. So we're gonna go down to the other cellar hole. And this one, the other cellar hole, when everything's grown in and the vegetation is full, very easy to miss. A lot of people come through here, wouldn't even know it's there because it's overgrown. So we did a lot of work to kind of clean the trail up a little bit. We got implements out. Implements are, shears, little hacksaws, rakes, shovels, tools to stuff like you would use in your yard. So we used implements to clear this trail out a bit. Trail system heads down there. It kind of runs into vegetation and overgrowth. But over here, here's the second cellar hole foundation. This one is in very good shape. in terms of like the wall structure. Let's see if I can get it back here. See the walkout over there. And we're right next to the railroad track. Railroad track over there. So when we look on LiDAR, we'll be able to see the railroad track, and we can find this location. We can use the rock walls here, and there are many rock walls here, and there's a lot going on. And we can kind of find this plot of land. I don't know how well this shows up, but if we look, along the left here, and then over here to the right, kind of see the property, this piece of the property framed out. And what we want to do is try to figure out how this piece of the property and all of the rest of this area worked to create a functioning farm or farms. Another thing we want to think about is how this area where I'm at right now, out here in the woods, which is how we'll refer to it, getting out in the woods, how this area is different from where the high school is, how this stuff just kind of stops where we see the development at the high school of like the park area, the playground area, the pavilions, then the fields, and the high school. And just kind of think about what it all might have looked like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and then even back further before settlers came here, before this land was cultivated and changed, back in native time, when the native peoples of this land lived here, what it must have looked like then. Kind of wild. We'll do a lot with that. So we're gonna sign off, me and Eddie here, and look forward to getting you guys out here, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.